Could this be the night we qualify for the 1990 World Cup finals in Italy? Hello and welcome to Scott Sport World Cup Special. Tonight, the Scots are on the brink of qualifying for our 5th consecutive World Cup finals. Now, following last night's drawn match in Oslo between Norway and France, Scotland now need only draw tonight in Zagreb to secure them.
So the Yugoslavs realise the importance of the occasion to make a big impression on their home fans, and there will be a fascinating tactical battle coming up very shortly indeed. And sitting beside me to identify these tactical problems is the Celtic manager Billy McNeill. Billy, we now know the team lineups. How do they appeal to you?
Yes, I think in many ways, Jock, it's predictable because Andy was left in short supply with Richard Gough calling off. I think he's gone for a team that's experienced and I think has the ability to come up with a result that Andy's done so well in the past.
So the decision to play Gordon Jury alongside Ali McCoy is the one awaited with great interest by the Scots over here in Zagreb. And there are a number of these, I can assure you, there are fairly vociferous contingent down below us here, and some Scottish cars. There's confirmation of the Scottish lineup. Gary Gillespie wearing number 2. You'll see Steve Nicol wearing number 7. And I think you can expect to see Steve Nicol playing wide on the right. There are the Scottish substitutes, and I'm quite certain we'll see one or two of these before the night is out. Scotland, to remind you, playing in their change all-white top strip with the Yugoslavs in their normal blue tops, white shorts and red stockings. And there's that Yugoslavian lineup. 7 survivors of the team which drew 1 apiece at Hampden a year ago. And of course, number 10, Stojkovic, a key man, and Katanec also number 4, the man who scored the goal in Glasgow, a very important player. 1 substitute short. There are the match officials, all from Belgium. Marcel van Langenhove is the referee there in the middle. Very experienced official, not quite so well known as Alex Pone from Belgium, but obviously a very experienced FIFA man. There's the Yugoslavian lineup posing for the photographers at the start of the match. And the team's now completing all the formalities before the match. Roy Aitken coming forward to shake hands with the officials, and that is Zlatko Vujovic, the captain of Yugoslavia, 31 years old. He plays for Paris Saint-Germain. He has 59 caps as of tonight with 24 goals. That's a very impressive striking performance in international football. And the decision being taken, I think, for the teams to stay where they are for the opening of the match. And these opening stages will be crucial. There is the league table now with the match last night, Norway against France, finishing in a 1-1 draw. That's a very healthy situation for both Scotland and for Yugoslavia. So behind the goal camera, the linesman checking the nets are properly installed. And the kickoff being delayed until right on the correct time. There is Ivica Osim, the Yugoslavian coach, the manager. It's such an important task tonight to get the tactics right, matching himself against Andy Rosper and the Scottish dugout. And there are the Scottish fans down below us in the enclosure there, showing lots of good nature and vocal support for the Scottish players. So the announcement confirming the team lineups. That's what you hear coming over the tannoy at the moment. It's Scotland who will start this vital World Cup qualifier. 2 Celtic players there, Paul McStay and Roy Aitken. Ali McCoy is on the right, and Gordon Jury has dropped behind me for the moment. So we'll see the role fulfilled by Jury and by Rory McCoy. That'll be very interesting too early on. He's been playing sweeper for his club, Borussia Dortmund, but with Willie Miller on the side, I don't think we can expect to see McLeod in that role tonight. So a careful check of the watch, and the match is underway. So here's Steve Nicol on the right touchline, immediately closed down by Vujovic. So a throw to Scotland. And you can be sure Scotland will be anxious to start the game in a very composed fashion and do nothing rash early on. Roy Aitken lofting it forward. Belgic heading it back. Spajic over there too, number 2. Back it goes for the first touch for Ivkovic in goal. Dropping back here to take possession is Bernadic. This is Belgic. And now Stojkovic, number 10, the danger man for Scotland, the midfield general, the creative player. Bazdarovic playing it across to Hadzibegic. And now Spazic. The Scots funneling back, allowing the Yugoslavs to play the ball across the back four. It's Hadzibegic. Bazdarovic rather playing it forward. Here's Katanic. Good ball inside, a chance now for Suzic. And some fine defending by Murdo MacLeod for Scotland. It was MacLeod who came back. He's being applauded there by Jim Leighton. So very important piece of defensive play by Murdo MacLeod.
I think on any job we're seeing the pattern, because it's not a marking job tonight. I think it's a blanket job that we're going to try and push them. We're going to try and push them across the width of the pitch. The problem we've got is all of their midfield players can break from that midfield area, and they're obviously very, very skillful and dangerous.
So Scotland trying to get forward now on the left. That was McCoy's putting pressure on Spazic. Picked up in the middle of the field again by Bazdarovic. Katanic plays it back. Yugoslavs so comfortable in possession and very patient too in the build-up. Here's Brnovic, who plays for Metz in France, the same club as Eric Black, a former Aberdeen player. Suzic is number 7. That's given straight to Murdo MacLeod. Malpass immediately appears on his left. Here's Paul McStay calling for the ball in the midfield. The Scots will be happy to enjoy some possession now. Roy Aitken, the supporting player for McStay. That's a loose pass by Roy Aitken. That's a break for Scotland. The ball bobbling there as it reached Vujovic. It's gone for the Scottish throw. Taken there by Gary Gillespie. So Gillespie and Miller exchanging passes. Gillespie something of a lucky charm in the Scottish lineup. His 7th cap in the lineup. He's never been on a losing side. Let's hope it stays the same tonight. That's a good ball by McCoy. Here's MacLeod checking inside Stojkovic, looking for McStay in midfield. Here's Jury. Cross it goes to McCoy, trying to set that back for Aitken. Bazdarovic wins it for Yugoslavia to play it back to his goalkeeper. Brnovic into midfield to Bazdarovic. Only 2 of these Yugoslavian players play in their home country. Spazic, the fullback, and Stojkovic. The rest all play away from home. 6 of them in France. There's the challenge made by McLeish. There's Bazdarovic. Baljic is number 3. The layoff inside finds Suzic. Back it goes to Stojkovic. Player going to meet him is Aitken. Stojkovic again. Space on the left for Brnovic. Being denied space by Steve Nicol. Ball played in this time by Brnovic. Up goes McLeish to win it. Jury challenging well. Here's Paul McStay. And Aitken with a header. Baljic. The interception was by Nicol. McStay leaves that now on the call to Willie Miller. Here's McCoy showing good control. Jury's on the right. Supported by Nicol. Careless one inside, making that very easy for Katanic to take over, the Sampdoria player. And number 4 has scored in Glasgow. Here's Stojkovic. Space over on the far side there for Hadzibegic to go forward. Stojkovic. Bazdarovic. Scotland again allowing possession across their bows. Here's Suzic. Trying to make space to play a pass to Vujovic. There's Vujovic. And a brilliant save from Leighton. The menace of Vujovic clear though for all to see. Applause around the Maximir Stadium for the Yugoslav captain. The way he held off Gillespie. There was Miller coming across, and that was blocked by the right knee of Leighton. Got a kick taken. It's swept away there by Malpass. Scots crowding around the ball. It's Roy Aitken who brings it clear. So back it goes to Hadzibegic. Space over on the far side for Baljic. going forward, and it's Malpass who goes to meet him. A lot of interchanging being done by the Yugoslavs. Some fine play in the build-up. Willie Miller attacks the ball in the box. It's back with Spasic. The Scotland having to work very hard indeed now to keep the Yugoslavs at bay. Here's Stojkovic. Good running by Branovic on the left. Driven against Gillespie. That's a throw to Yugoslavia. The pressure remains on the Scottish defence. Calm figure there as Ivica Osim, the Yugoslav coach. So Bazdanovic. Inside it goes to Katanic. Has the Bejic shoulder. Screened there by Bazdanovic, and it's McLeod who wins it. Good play again by McLeod. Jury over on the left. Here's Malpass. He'll use Leighton at the back. And a very impressive opening by Yugoslavia.
Yes, they've been very impressive, Jock. I think it's essential that we don't allow any avenues through between our three central defenders, because obviously they're breaking from midfield. The two front players are excellent players and they're good passers, and I think the opening spell is going to be very, very important to us.
So a free kick awarded to Scotland inside the Yugoslavian half. The Yugoslav bench. Only 4 substitutes there. There's one short of the allocated number. Coach Osim clearly believes that to be enough. Here's Martin McLeod over this free kick for Scotland. McLeish has gone forward. Gary Gillespie arriving late, trotting down at the bit of the picture there. Played in by McLeod. That's towards Gillespie. That's a good leap. The chance is on! And it's chopped off. It will not count. Frustration there for McCoy. A foul given against Gary Gillespie. It is frustration for the Scottish fans. For this far-flung free kick by Martin McLeod. Gillespie going up at the far side, and there looked to be nothing wrong with that. There was McCoy. It wasn't an offside decision. Well, that looked to be a good goal from here.
Yes, I'd be very annoyed if someone chopped that off against my team. It gives us illustration that they're not as secure as perhaps that they would want to be at the back. And equally, it's given us indication that Ali McCoy will put a chance or two away if he gives the opportunity. I think this is we've got great security. I think we've got the best goalkeeper we've had for years and years, Jock, and that's 2 good saves he's had, so he's settled into the game very well. It gives the lads in front of him a lot of confidence to know that Jim is on his form tonight, and that's good for us. I think we'll settle quite well in actual fact, but we've seen the dangers that they can produce.
So the singing below us from the Scottish fans. We'll support you evermore, Bonnie Scotland, and that must be encouraging too to the players out there. Not very many of them here, but making lots of noise. Here come Yugoslavia again. Vujovic is offside. Well, the experience there in the Scottish defence paid off. Willie Miller there controlling things. Malpass also was there. They realised that Vujovic had mistimed the run. So the linesman's flag was up instantly. Here was the ball played through. Willie Miller, that was left there by Gillespie, who was quite confident that would be an offside decision, and he's been proved to be correct. Here's Jury now for Scotland. Now McLeish. And there's Wallace Malpass. The middle of the field is McStay. Gillespie operating at right back in the early stages of the match with Nicol ahead of him. Here's Jury now linking with McCoy. Jury again. Aikens found his way into the box. That was deflected. It should be a corner kick. Yes, it's a corner kick to Scotland. Good play by Gordon Jury then on number 11, linking well with McCoy. So the corner will be taken, I reckon, by Murdo McLeod. And going by the Scottish preparations, this could be A near post corner by McLeod. McLeish is certainly there for that purpose. Stojkovic seems to be much too close to the ball. That's the word offered by McLeod. The Belgian referee seems to agree, but McLeod gets on with it. McLeish battling hard for the ball in the near post area. He's got it back to McLeod. And a free kick's been given against Alec McLeish for showing his studs. His foot was up, and that on the continent is usually enough to guarantee a free kick. So here's Stojkovic. On the near side, Brnovic. Baljic. Stojkovic again. Look at the Scots funnel back. They allow the Yugoslavs to play the ball around in their own half as much as they like, but here's Vujovic. This is much more dangerous, and that interception was made calmly by Gillespie. Here's McCoist taking the ball for a run, forcing that tackle from Baljic. Interesting tactics, Billy, from Scotland. No man marker for Stojkovic, as some expected.
No, honestly, I think he's almost impossible to man mark, Jock. And the thing we've got to try and do is allow him influence on the ball in his own half. But he's such a good player that he'll make room for himself during the game, and we've always got to be aware that he's a superb long passer as well.
Jury looking for a run from McCoy. So McCoy is still found lacking in that area of his play, but he couldn't reach that. So a lot of space over on the far side for Sreko Katanic, the Sampdoria midfield player. Suzic has come very deep indeed to become involved in the build-up. Jakovlevic taken from the back by Alec McLeish. A free kick has been given. Roy Aiken immediately over the ball to make sure there's no quick free kick taken. There's Malpass very quickly across. Hadzibejic was the player who made the run for the ball, but Malpass reacted very quickly indeed. So a throw to Yugoslavia over on the far side. It's Katanic. Lazarevic. Jury and Spazic together. Here's Paul McStay. Scotland hoping that Paul McStay sees a lot of the ball. Well, possession is the main thing for Scotland, and that's what they've retained with that play back to Malpass, to the goalkeeper. Here's McLeod now, who's had a good start to the match on the left side of the Scottish midfield. Malpass looking for McCoy, coming off his marker. Good running by McLeod. Couldn't quite reach it. Bit of frustration there for Murray McLeod, winning his 10th cap tonight. So on the near side here with lots of space is Brnovic. Baljic. Katanic. Stojkovic to the back here. McLeod is the player who went to meet him. Over on the far side is Spazic. And some carelessness in the passing. So approaching the quarter of an hour mark, and I fancy the Scots, notwithstanding that goal chalked off, will be reasonably happy at this stage with the way they've settled to the match.
Yes, we've settled in nice, in actual fact. We've learned that Jim Layton's nice and sharp. We've learned that Ali McCoy's given the chance, we'll put the ball in the net. And equally, we've started to put our passes together in midfield. And I think it's important that we try to hold on to the ball as much as we can and not give it away tonight.
There's Gordon Jury battling hard again for Scotland, challenging in the air. The throw goes to Yugoslavia. Hadzibejic wanted a free kick. There's a huge crowd here in the Maximir Stadium. One or two species, but certainly 45,000 here, I'm sure. Jakovlevic, a Nantes player. There are the Scottish fans again, very happy indeed at this stage in the match. Suzic comes forward. And Gary Gillespie turns it back. McLeish dived into that challenge. And the instant pass went astray. So Scotland survive again. Jim Layton taking the sting out of things now. Plenty of time being taken to bring the ball out of the Scottish box. Well, the kind of chess match we've come to expect in international matches, particularly away from home. Steve Nicol plays it into space for the willing figure of Harry McCoist, who was pushed from the back by Baljic. The free kick to Scotland. 2 is Gary Gillespie. 3 Steve Nicol, the Liverpool pairing on the right side of the Scottish side. Careless one by Gillespie. Vujovic plays it inside. It's picked up by Paul McStay. Willie Miller, I'm sure, may be tempted to take this back to Leighton. Malpass is free over to the far side, but Gillespie is also available on the right. Oh, it's a bad ball by Willie Miller. Not quite what he intended for sure, and Bazarovic now the chance to come forward. This could be dangerous for Scotland. Well, a lesson learned there. Willie Miller, for all his experience, attempting a very ambitious long pass and losing possession for Scotland.
Yeah, we've already seen Roy Aitken give a careless pass, Gary Gillespie, now Willie Miller. And they'll allow us the ball at the back, and they'll look for us to make bad passes. They're good in possession. We've got to be very careful, don't give it away. I think our players have got to adjust tonight, and so far they've adjusted very, very well. They're all working together, and I think that Alan McCoist enjoys this role where he's got a lot of freedom. He'll make himself space, and he can play balls into him. They'll open up avenues. He'll introduce players to come up and support him.
There's a head flick on by Nicol. There is McCoist. Jury now being invited to chase. Didn't quite make it. Wasn't much in that. Ivkovic on his own to take the cross, but Gordon Jury looking sharp alongside McCoist up front. 3 at the back, Yugoslavia playing. 2 markers. They have Baljic and Spazic with Hadzibejic free. In a packed midfield. 5 in that area frequently. Here comes Scotland again. Good running by Nicol. Trying to play the early ball inside. McCoist keeps the ball in play. Zoranovic controls it. And you see the Yugoslavs are in no great hurry to get the ball out of defence. Hadzibejic bringing it forward. He plays for Sochaux in France. He also has Bazarovic, his club teammate, on the side in the midfield. There's Katanic. And now Suzic. Murray McLeod challenging Stojkovic. Well, Scotland happy to see Stojkovic getting lots of possession inside his own half. That pass almost cut off by Steve Nicol. There's Branovic, winning his 13th cap tonight. Good play by Vujovic. Suzy just found space inside. McStay trying to get on terms. A fine tackle by Paul McStay. Brilliant timing. And now Murray McLeod has possession and always has a supporting player from the back. Stojkovic came in late on McLeod there. McLeod gets up to get on with it. Here's McCoist. Challenge from the back there by Baljic. Katanic. Suzic. Stepping away from McStay this time. Jakovlevic. Beaten to the high ball. Good play by McLeish. Here goes Murray McLeod. Jury battling well. Picked up again by McLeod. Over on the far side, Harry McCoist providing width and good running by Jury again. Steve Nicol waits in the middle. Tackled there by Spazic, but that was fine play by Scotland in these circumstances over on the far side. Jury, McLeod and McCoy is doing well in that area. And now the throw-in will be taken by Aitken. Nicol stayed in the box. It's gone short to Jury. Hadzibejic with the clearing header. Malpass calls there to McLeod. Here's Jury again. Must be very encouraged with his start to the match. Over to the far side it goes. There goes Gillespie again. This time challenged by Vujovic. The linesman and the referee agree that that is a goal kick. Well, it certainly looked as though Vujovic was up there with Gary Gillespie. But it's encouraging to see Scotland willing to push some of the big players forward.
I think the ready drop, we've seen that our discipline, our concentration has got to be good. And we've got to shorten our passing just a little bit. I think we can neglect the long pass, which might take the chance of giving the ball to them. And keep the short pass, keep a hold of the ball. We'll create a chance or two.
has done extremely well in the match so far, Billy.
Yes, I think both front players are enjoying the bit of freedom they've got. They're playing three at the back, and the channels have opened up a bit. If we can concentrate, as I say, keep the ball in midfield, and then the pass will open up for us. Concentration and discipline tonight are going to be important. The two front players look sharp and confident. I think they look good at the moment.
So Willie Miller will take this free kick for Scotland. Steve Nicol challenging, reacting very quickly when the ball breaks. Still Nicol in possession. Well, the linesman says the throw goes to Yugoslavia, and that again, I think, could be questioned. Vujovic leaves the throw to Branovic. Suzic very deep again, put under pressure by Jury. Hadžibegić is at the back. Well, queuing up inside to take the short pass. It's Katanic who takes over. Stojkovic has found space. Running at Aiken. Good play by Stojkovic. He's got a great shot in his right foot. Suzic trying to collect it. That was stopped there by Gillespie, but Stojkovic's got some alarming room there coming forward that time. Katanic. Lazarevic. Down goes Leighton. Superb goalkeeping once again. So sharp, so alert, and a great pair of hands. Well, it's a fine pass this. Suzic playing it through the Scottish defence. It's a great pass this. And Vujovic breaking away from Gillespie, and Leighton coming off his line. And no mistake made there by the Scottish keeper.
Also, what an asset he has, Jim Leighton. He's so good at reading things happening through his defence. He comes out very quickly and very positively. It's a great relief for the defence and a real confidence booster for the people in front of him.
So far, given away there by Aiken with his tackle, and Jakovlevic coming in very late indeed. Lazarevic to Suzic. Over on the far side, Hadžibegić springing from the back in the right back position. Playing it in low. Here's Martin McLeod. The early pass finds Jury. This is with Malpass. McLeod again. The long ball this time, and McCoy is being held all the way by Baljic. Well, the referee sees nothing wrong, but it certainly appeared as though McCoy was being held when he made the run. It's with Stojkovic now in the middle of the field. Stepping away from Aiken. He may fancy a long-range effort. There he goes. A let off for Scotland again. Off the underside of the bar, and Stojkovic so close to the opening goal. Given space here for the shot. This time he beats Jim Leighton. And Scotland are saved by the crossbar. Yeah. I honestly think we're entitled to that bit of lockjaw, but it illustrates the ability this fella's got. He can pass it short, he can hit them, One of the things that I meant to mention earlier, with the shooting power that he's got, we've got to try not to give free kicks away around about the box, but we've got to be very, very, very much aware that if we retreat from this fella, he'll cause us real problems. Problems indeed coming from the man in the middle of the field, Dragan Stojkovic of Red Star Belgrade, 24 years old, winning his 25th cap tonight. He scored 7 times, and that was so nearly 8. Here's Steve Nicol. Gillespie in a bit of trouble. Aiken using his strength, but he's been penalised. Leaning there on Vujovic. Getting some instructions there from the dugout. Shots on goal. Yugoslavia 4 to Scotland's 0. One from Scotland found the net, but was chopped off early on for an infringement. Ali McCoy scoring. But now the Yugoslav supporters have some encouragement. Just past the 25-minute mark in the first half. Still no scoring here in Zagreb. Yugoslavia come forward again. Jakovlevic plays it back. There's Roy Aiken's clearing header. Jury putting pressure on the Yugoslav defence. Well, the front men have such a difficult task tonight. They've got to try and shut down avenues for the Yugoslavs to come forward. Here's Stojkovic now switching to the left to find space. Supported by Brnovic. Into the middle of the field it goes to Suzic. Crowded area around the edge of the box. Ball flighted in there. Malpass positioned himself well. Zdarovic trying to get in behind him. Fine control there from McCoist, and he's supported by Gary Gillespie. Some anxiety before the match about Gillespie's match fitness. He's been out of the team for a while at Liverpool, just coming back, and he has shown some signs of rustiness in the match so far. Here's Stojkovic. McLeod trying to meet him. So here's Suzic. Baljic hitting the byline now. This is danger for Scotland. The cross cut off by Gary Gillespie. Well, Scotland at the moment going through the mill as the Yugoslavs come forward from midfield. Sheraton is packed with Yugoslavian supporters who must be greatly encouraged at the moment by their team's performance. Scotland battling to hang on. So Stojkovic will take this corner kick, right-footed. Every Scottish player back inside the box to defend. McCoist closing down on the kicker. Right across to the far side it goes. It's helped on its way by Steve Nicol, who was not prepared to take any chances about a player coming in behind him. Here's Suzic. Long way back it goes to Hadžibegić. To Stojkovic again. Brnovic goes on his outside. Here's Stojkovic. Setting up Brnovic. Well, the ball seemed to swerve out and back in again. The linesman on the spot says the ball is still in play. Here's Stojkovic immediately under pressure from Jury, and a free kick's been given. Well, that really was a forward challenge there, a rash one. Osim on his feet, the Yugoslav coach. So here's a moment of danger for the Scots. Roy Aitken trying to ensure there's no quick free kick. And the referee's going to have a word with Roy Aitken and Dragan Stojkovic for that little exchange. So the players showing there's no ill will. Aitken indicating the free kick was about to be taken to the wrong part of the place. Well, he's done a good job in the sense that he's held things up, allowed Scotland to organise themselves in defence. Hadžibegić, number 5, having a word with the referee. So a huge wall lined up with the Scots. They know the shooting power of Stojkovic. Katarec also dangerous from this position. Vujovic is also there organising things. Hadžibegić is complaining about something to the referee, perhaps about the wall not being 10 yards back, and it scarcely appears to be 10 yards. That set piece breaks down. A long ball forward by Gillespie. Jury races after the ball, but he won't get there ahead of Hadžibegić. The space for Suzic to turn. Well, the interchanging of the Yugoslavs has certainly caused lots of problems for the Scots. In the middle of the field, the Scots coping in a zonal way. They haven't allocated any player in particular to watch any particular player. They're playing in areas. Gordon Jury again doing a good job with a layoff to Malpass. Malpass content to take this for a run. Spasic goes in with a tackle. Should be a throw to Scotland. Scottish fans hoping for a free kick. Spasic, the tall number 2, goes back. Just 25 years old, despite that thinning top. There's the scoreline after half an hour. A healthy one for Scotland. Been a measure of luck about that, and there's been some wonderful goalkeeping by Leighton. Scotland too, though, a bit unlucky at the other end with a goal chopped off. There's McCoist returning that to Malpass. Nichols in the box. Steve Nicol getting up well. The Yugoslavs now on the break with Suzic. Looking for Vujovic, who's very quick indeed on the left. 31 years old, but certainly lots of spring in the legs. Here's Suzic. Scotland have everyone back except the front 2 now to battle for possession around the box. Jakovljevic. Back to Bazdarovic. Good challenge made by Gillespie, but it breaks for Branovic. Katanic. In the middle of the field is Suzic again. Jakovlevic trying to take possession and turn away from McLeish, but McLeish has been through the middle many times before. Now Willie Miller, the second highest number of caps for a Scotsman after Kenny Dalglish's 102. Miller and McLeish playing for Scotland tonight for the 64th time. So some commercials which I cannot translate for you across the screen as Scotland have possession once again. Well, that was a very tough spell indeed for the Scots, Billy.
Yeah, it's just a little bit worrying aspect that Stojkovic has now seen an awful lot of the ball, and I think he's such a dynamic player that he'll cause any team problems. But the problem that you've got is they've got so many good midfield players. Unusual situation, Yugoslavs. They've got 4 quality midfield players who can all pass the ball, who can all create a lot of problems out of almost nothing, and it's difficult to cope with that at times. We've just got to keep our discipline and keep working and keep thinking.
So no scoring here in the Maksimir Stadium, Zagreb. We played 32 minutes of the first half. Yugoslavs enjoying possession again, deep. Scotland clearly quite content to let them have the ball around the halfway line. Here's Baljic. Stojkovic goes to take the ball from him. McLeod goes with him. Here's Katanic. Not much space to operate. Paul McStay putting him under pressure. Katanic so composed on the ball. Here's Baljic. Great play again. Here's Branovic on the left. Providing the width on the left for Yugoslavia. Long deep cross. Well won by McLeish. Controlled well by McStay for Nicol. Fine defensive header that from Alec McLeish. Back it goes from Katanic. Baljic. Well, this will certainly be a stamina-sapping match for both sides. The Scots having to chase the play a great deal, with the Yugoslavs enjoying so much possession. There's a long ball for Spazic, but Malpass underneath it. That's a good header. McCoy's holding it up, making sure possession remains with Scotland. Remember, Scotland playing in the white tops tonight. The long ball goes all the way back there from McCoy's to Leighton. And Yugoslavia adopting similar tactics to Scotland when they lose possession. They're funneling back to their own half, allowing the Scots to play it about their back 4, or more accurately back 3. Both sides operating with 3 defenders. Good play by McLeod. There's Gillespie looking for Jury. Spazic reacting quickly, but so did McStay. The break of the ball goes towards McLeish. Here's McStay again. McLeod, a good first time simple pass. McLeish doing well under pressure. Good play from Scotland. Jury to Malpass. Chance for the Scots to get forward. McCoy has made a near run, and Nicol at the far side of the box. There's a free kick, I'm sure, to Scotland. Good experienced play there by Maurice Malpass, sucking in Yugoslav players, waiting for the Scots to make runs up front. There's a foul count. Certainly not by any means a dirty match. There's Craig Brown in the dugout on the two-way radio to Andy Roxburgh in the stand. So the free kick will be taken by Murdo McLeod. Gillespie in the box, so is McLeish. Cross it goes again. Didn't reach Gillespie that time. Here's Paul McStay doing a bit of pushing there on Bazdarovic, and the result is a free kick to Yugoslavia midway inside their own half. Well, the Scottish fans still not in any way downhearted. I'm sure they realise, though, that Scotland tonight are facing top-quality opposition. Stojkovic switching it to the far side to Spazic. Katanic offers himself inside, takes over. Careless pass, though. McStay putting him under pressure. Up goes Gillespie. Aiken couldn't control it. In the middle of the field now is Suzic. Good challenge that by McLeish. Here's Jury. Tackled by Spazic. Baljic picks up the scraps. There's Vujovic, tackled well by Gillespie. There's no foul as McStay plays it. Back to Steve Nicol. Some whistling from the Yugoslav supporters, but the referee couldn't have been closer to the action. And on the far side, providing width as diligently as ever, is Morris Malpass of Dundee United. Winning his 29th cap tonight, maturing into a fine international defender. Scotland have the throw. Measured play by the Scots whenever they have possession, nothing rushed, making sure the passes counted. And there appeared to be obstruction there on Malpass. He tried to go past Stojkovic. So free kick it is to Scotland. And the referee is having a word with Stojkovic. He's already spoken to him after that little incident with Roy Aitken a moment or two ago. So a bit unusual, that, for a player to have two lectures from a referee without the yellow card being produced. So what are the cloud now with this free kick? Back it goes to Paul McStay. Good running by McCoist up front. And a fine turn, a deep cross, the header by Jury! And Scotland take the lead! Great ball on the track! The Scottish bench erupts, and so did the Scottish man, and that was a supreme goal from Scotland. Created by Paul McStay.
V 57. minutu slovítať za reprezentáciu Škótske pospíchal je igrač z brojem 11, Juri.
What a marvellous goal, a lovely piece of skill from Alan McCoist here. Turns his man well, not. What a delightful little flighted ball to the back post. We've got Jury's here to finish it off. Now, all we've got to do now, we've got the bonus we wanted. Let's keep our discipline, let's keep our passing, let's keep our concentration. So a goal fit to grace any World Cup match. Scored by Gordon Jury of Chelsea. The young striker. A surprise choice by Andy Roxburgh, but has he paid him off fully with that goal? Brilliant play by the Scots creatively. Here's Vujovic. They must be diligent in defence now. Willie Miller got across to shut off any danger. Scotland very anxious now to settle on this lead. Just 8 minutes remaining in the first half. These Scottish fans finding certainly the trip to Zagreb well worthwhile. So you can be sure the Yugoslavs will not accept that shot lying down. There's a foul given against Morris Malpass. Bit of wrestling going on there. So free kick to Yugoslavia. Scotland pulling back everyone except Ali McCoist. Crowded area, Gary Gillespie won it. Here's Stojkovic trying to make room for himself to cause a problem for the Scottish defence. There's Gillespie again, looking very calm now in defence. Well taken down by Jury. McCoist takes over. Gets help from Nicol. Back it goes to Gillespie. Calm play by the Scots. Crucial to settle down at this stage, Billy. Well, I think our discipline's been good, Doc. I've got to compliment the players. We've got very experienced players at the back. Their concentration is essential now. We've got a bonus. We came here, which is we play, get a passing going, we'll create a chance. We've created two chances, one the referee didn't give us. We've created a magnificent goal. It's now all about concentration and discipline. That's beautiful play in the middle of the field there by Stojkovic, showing the full range of his talent. He showed courage, he showed close control and skill. Still, the Yugoslavs have possession. Vujovic linking with Branovic. Inside is Bezdanovic. This is dangerous for Scotland. Bezdanovic making for the byline. Trying to make certain with the pass. There was Spasic just queued up in the 6-yard box. But the linesman's flag was up. Little bit of over-anxiety creeping in there among the Yugoslavs. Bezdanovic took a great deal of time in that position before releasing the pass. They'll be anxious now. The crowd's getting on the top. Their crowd come along here expecting a victory that would take them to Italy. They now see Scotland well on their way to Italy, and they're getting a bit upset. And if we can keep our discipline, we don't give anything away, they'll start to get that bit anxious because the crowd's getting on the top just a little bit. Gillespie with the header. Here's Paul McStay trying to restore some order on the ground. Good interception there by Spasic. McCoy battling well with Katanic. Valjic plays it forward. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Scotland leading by 1-0. The scorer, Gordon Jury. Jakovlevic with Willie Miller colliding, and the referee has given a free kick.
Well, a real tussle between the two players. Miller complaining bitterly to the referee that he was fouled initially. He certainly appeared to be held by Jakovlevic. But this is very dangerous indeed for Scotland. The Yugoslav, outstanding set-piece exponent around the box. So Tanis Stojkovic, who could bend one from this position. Suzic is also there, the number 7, just out of your picture at the moment. So 4 in the wall, plus 1 just wide of that. Ali McCoy's every Scotsman back defending. Leighton crouched on his line. Here goes Stojkovic. Trying to entice the wall to break. Insisting on the 10-yard rule being observed. There's a Yugoslav in the wall. Well, he'll get no joy in that position. He'll get a rough time, I'm certain. Beautifully taken by Stojkovic, at about a foot too high. And Stojkovic, you can see clearly, is becoming very upset indeed. Taking his life in his hands there. He's been already warned twice by the referee, and this makes the 3rd time without any yellow card being produced. The Belgian referee and Stojkovic having an angry exchange, and it really is remarkable. That's 3 warnings, Billy.
I think it gives indication of how upset they are, Jock. I'm convinced they thought they had nothing else to do tonight, but go out there, stroke the ball about, get a goal or two, and be on their way to Italy. Now all of a sudden they know they've got a bat on their hands.
And Jury goes through again, brought down by Ivkovic. McCoy set it up once again, and the combination up front almost paying off once more. There goes Roy Aitken. He was held by Suzic. That was clearly a foul by Suzic. Get a chance again for the Yugoslav. Stojkovic has possession. Back it goes to Bazanovic. Still danger for the Scots. Jakovlevic going forward. Stojkovic trying to play it in off. Boris Malpass for the corner kick. And Suzic most certainly should have been penalised for a foul in midfield on Roy Aitken. Well, what action here in Zagreb. Gordon Jury going so close to his second. What a pass this was from Ali McCoy. Jury going in there. And it was a leg there of Ivkovic. It was no foul. It was a perfectly good save by the keeper. Oh, Scotland grouping again in defence. Well, the front two deserve a medal already for their efforts in the match tonight, McCoist and Jury. Here's Spazic. The header goes wrong. Here's McCoist dropping deep for the moment. McStay takes over to use Nicol, who's in space on the right. It's back now with Gary Gillespie. 2 minutes remaining in the 1st half. Scotland leading by 1-0. Desperately anxious, I've no doubt, to hold on until half-time with this lead. And that could so easily have been the second. There's the happy scoreline for the Scots. 44 minutes gone. So very anxious now to play out time. It really has been a fine Scottish performance, Billy.
Yes, it's been a very disciplined performance at the back. We were a bit careless earlier on, giving the ball away, but we've conquered that. And I think Ali McCoy is reveling the role. He's finding space, he's finding room, he's able to make passes. He's set up one goal, almost set up another.
Signs to the Scottish pack. Blessing is coming on in attack. Steve Nicol battling hard with Bazanovic. The interception, that was well read by Aitken. Here's Jury. Linking again with Aitken. Possession so important until half-time. Down goes Roy Aitken. Baljic came in with a tackle. Aitken on the ground, and that will be a free kick to Scotland, I'm sure. Well, that's a statistic showing how much possession the Yugoslavs have had. 16 minutes worth against the Scots with 12, I think. Roy Aitken knew what that was all about. He's been in the position many times before and really invited that rash tackle. He's certainly not going to depart from the play, that's for sure. There he goes again, his 48th international. So Gary Gillespie and Steve Nicol over this free kick. Seconds ticking away towards half-time. Ivkovic will take this comfortably, I'm sure. Yes, much too close to the goalkeeper. Possession has now been given to the Yugoslavs for a late effort in the 1st half. Coming forward again, Suzic finding space in the middle of the field. Martin McLeod has switched across. There has been some discussion from the dugout, and that paid off. Here goes McLeod now. 45 minutes have gone in the 1st half. McLeod sent stumbling, but the half-time whistle has gone. The perfect scoreline at this stage for the Scots. They're leading by 1-0 today. The goal is the 37th minute of magnificent quality created by the pass from Paul McStay, a turn and cross from Ali McCoy, a diving header from Gordon Jury. There is the half-time scoreline. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Our coaching staff, led by Ivica Osim, their manager. Well, a full shake of the head as he comes out. I think he'll be surprised to find his team a goal behind at this stage in the match. And Scotland, you can be sure, full of beans for the second half. And that lengthy interval break certainly won't have done them any harm, and particularly the two front men, McCoist and Jury, who've been running themselves into the ground in that first half to tremendous effect. And indeed the selections which might be deemed surprises, Martin McLeod and Gordon Jury, they are the picture there. They really have performed superbly and justified Andy Roxburgh's faith so far in the match. There's the scoreline. The second half about to begin with the Yugoslavs kicking off. Remember, the Yugoslavs in blue tops, the Scots in white. And the referee again being very careful indeed about the timing as he starts the match. There's Katanic. And as you will hear, the loudspeaker system extremely effective inside the Maximir Stadium. Here's Spazic playing it inside, and it's Katanic, number 4, the tall, angular player. That is for Sampdoria. And there's a good challenge there made by Gillespie. Here's Stojkovic. Martin McLeod very close to him. And staying very close to him, but he still finds his way away from McCoist. He still has McLeod to contend with. That's a fine ball to the far side. Brnovich comes in. Turned away there, and it's Katanic who collects the ball at the edge of the box. Still problems for the Scots. Spazic making for the byline, and Gordon Jury did well. Stayed very close to him, prevented the cross getting in front of Jim Leighton, and Spazic was forced to turn it behind. So very tense opening moments in this second half. You see, here's some applause there, and that's for some activity on the Yugoslav bench. The prospect of a change being made. Savicevic was left out, and that upsets a lot of the Yugoslavian supporters. It upset Savicevic even more because he stormed out of the team headquarters when the team was announced in anger because he wasn't selected, but he may be introduced before very long. Here come Yugoslavia again. Suzic forcing his way past McLeish. Well tackled though by Steve Nicholl, getting the ball back to Malpass. Well, Scotland always providing cover, hunting in packs. And there's a nasty exchange there involving Stojkovic and jumping in there and Leighton. Indirect free kick has been given against Stojkovic, who really has shown signs of losing the place a little. That's certainly not by any means bad news for Scotland. Such a talented player when he keeps the head. There's Maurice Malpass. Chipping the ball forward. There's McCoist underneath it, controlling it and going inside, getting help now from McStay. Here's McLeod. Good interchange there. There's Jury. Into space it goes for Aiken. Fine play from Scotland. Jury was taken late in that challenge, getting to his feet very slowly below us. Back in the action now. Here he goes, attacking the ball, but certainly inconvenienced by that most recent tackle. Stojkovic away there from Martin McLeod. Stojkovic once again demanding the ball all the time from the Yugoslavian midfield. Over the far side, Brnovich coming forward, playing it in and off the head of Gary Gillespie. Corner kick to Yugoslavia. Well, very crucial moments these for Scotland, who want to settle into the second half with their lead intact. The scoreline, the corner scoreline, in fact, 5-1 to Yugoslavia. But the most important statistic is the goals scored, and so there is 1 to Scotland, none to Yugoslavia. Fired into the box and blocked by Aiken. There's Malpass underneath that, getting a free header and finding Paul McStay. Playing it up the flank. There's no one making the run that time. McCoy has dropped back to help in defence. The space here on the right for Spazic. Gordon Jury trying to shut him off. Spazic with an effort. An upward deflection! And once again, bouncing off the underside of the crossbar, away to safety for the Scots. Well, it would certainly have been a fortuitous goal, but once again, luck favouring the Scots. Spasic drilling that ball in, coming off the player who knew a lot about it, Vujovic, off the underside of the bar, dipping beyond Jim Leighton and away to safety.
I think, Jock, somebody's looking after Jim tonight because he's had some good saves, and anything's going past him, that Woodward's coming to their rescue. But they've started the second half well. We've got to live through the early part of it. Don't want to give away at this stage because it gives them an awful lot of time to get something else.
Now you hear the Yugoslav supporters coming to life now. They've been greatly encouraged by this very fast, impressive start to the second half. The Scotland know how hard it's going to be, playing against a top-quality side which has lost only once in 12 matches, 10 of which have been played away from home. So the referee here has given a free kick to Scotland, and Paul McStay is on the ground. No, not Paul McStay, he's up, all right, he's in order. It looks as though it may be McCoist who's on the ground. Ivica Osim looking on, and there certainly was a heavy tackle there made on McCoist. And some recovery time required for the Scottish number 9. Very tough, resilient player. He doesn't go down lightly. So the Scots looking on anxiously as referee Marcel van Langenhove from Belgium checks his watch. It will be a free kick to Scotland when this settles down, and the delay will not do the Scottish cause any harm.
No, I just hope that Ali's down there for a little rest and to take pressure off us. They've started well, they're getting the ball in behind us. They're obviously missing out our wide players, and Stojkovic is starting to stroke passes inside them, and they're getting themselves into good position. As I say, we've got to live through this. We've got the players who are capable of living through it. The discipline has been excellent so far.
So McCoist is a player down, winning his 17th cap tonight. 4 goals he scored for Scotland so far. 1 tonight, early on chopped off by the referee for reasons which were certainly not at all obvious. With Gary Gillespie playing it across the near side, keeping possession with Maurice Malpass. Here's McLeod. Malpass again. McCoist, off it goes to McLeod. McLeod now making for the byline, held by Balji. There's a cross, and headed away by Spasic. It was Gordon Jury attacking the ball again for Scotland. Some fine play again on the flank. Scotland earning the corner kick. Well, Gordon Jury making a fine run at the near post there as McLeod made progress, and he's had a fine match for Scotland tonight. Winning a second career virtually at Borussia Dortmund after valiant service to Celtic. There's McLeod's corner kick. Easy one for Ivkovic. No challenge made by the Scots on the keeper. McLeish going in there, but it's Spasic who has possession for Yugoslavia. Bazdarevic. Brnovic plays it forward. Katanic has done some wandering across to the left. Scotland again pulling players back. Switch to the near side here for Spasic, who has to turn back, and his control wasn't good enough. There was some excellent marking carried out by the Scots around the box, forcing that pass wide. Here's Jury. Fouled surely by Spasic, yes, the whistle is gone. So a good turn by Gordon Jury. Well, Scotland with powerful players like McInally and McClare able to give some relief to players like Jury up front, should they require it. And Malpass looking for McCoist. Well, all he's been able to do is play that towards a corner flag. Hasn't even reached the byline. Retrieved there by Hadžibegić, and it's Spasic. Forward to Katanic. Scotland appear now to have deployed Modern McLeod on Stojkovic. Bazdarevic. This is Stojkovic. Good running on this near side by Baljic. McLeod is going to cross and stumbles, giving time for Baljic. And that was missed by Leighton and headed home by Katanic. Osim celebrates with Baljic. Stojkovic is relieved. It was Katanic who got to that ball. The man who scored the goal in Glasgow. The stumble here by Modern McLeod. gets there too late. Katanic gets there first. And Yugoslavia have equalised.
Yeah, it's looked on the cards in the second half, but this big lad, Katanic, as he did it hand and drop, gets into the box so well. And it was a magnificent header. I wonder just a little bit, Jim might be looking to himself and maybe he should have attacked it just a fraction earlier. But, you know, it was a good attacking header, and they've started the second half very well. Let's look on the card.
So a major task now for the Scots, because the Yugoslavs will undoubtedly take great encouragement from that. There's a layoff by McCoist for Jury. Stojkovic trying to force his way past Mother McLeod, who's been penalised for obstruction. McLeod unhappy, but Stojkovic has the free kick. And a little angry exchange again involving Mother McLeod and Stojkovic. So the goal coming in 54 minutes. There's Stojkovic playing it across to the far side. A bit of misfortune there, Jim Leighton coming off his line but not reaching the ball, and perhaps his arrival preventing Alec McLeish from attacking the ball in the air. But Katanic must take credit for the way he attacked the ball to score that fine equaliser. There's Bezdarovic. Stojkovic taking the ball for a run, followed by Mother McLeod. McLeod preventing him from having any space at the moment to create. On his better foot, the right. Bezdarovic leaves it to Suzic. There goes Suzic towards the box. And the slanted shot across the boundary from Leighton, who knew, I think, it was going wide. Covered the ball with a dive. But Scotland now having to be careful as Suzic comes forward for that shot. Leighton, I think, had it covered. So the shot goal kick has been taken. Listen to the noise now from the Zagreb fans. Header by Baljic. Up goes Aiken. Nichols challenging with his foot up. That will not be allowed. A free kick to Yugoslavia, inevitably resulting from that. There is the scoreline. The Yugoslavs certainly having the better of the early part of the second half and meriting that equalising goal. And once again, the Scots back defending. Suzic. Willie Miller's header. Bornovic sends it back in. Set up there by Katanic. The interception was by McLeod. There's no one forward for Scotland at the moment. Pushing towards the halfway line, though, as the Yugoslavs set themselves for another move from the back through midfield with Stojkovic. Katanic finding space. Good play again from the Yugoslavs. Down goes Katanic. Caught late by Malpass. Good play by the big midfield player, who's not at all happy with Malpass. There's the record for Treko Katanic, the Sampdoria midfield player. Malpass completely committed, arriving late. There's Stojkovic again over this free kick. Fast long ball again, and a header beats Leighton. And a disaster for the Scots. Stojkovic is celebrating. Wow, the high cross into the box pays off again. The 57th minute of the match. A direct, simple free kick flighted in there by Stojkovic. Attacked in the air, Nichols didn't get there. The header goes home, and Yugoslavia are in front. Well, the Scots going down twice in 3 minutes. The high crosses and fine headers. Well, what a blow that was to Scotland. And now it'll be interesting to see how they react to that. There's the scoreline. And a disaster there in defence for the Scots for the high ball. A fine attacking header once again. ruck of players there. The scorer still to be clearly established as Vujovic breaks again on the far side. Suddenly Scotland are on the rack. There's Vujovic. And the deflection carries the ball in. The goal for Yugoslavia again. There's the start for Yugoslavia, and suddenly the match which looked so promising has turned into a nightmare. Vujovic, the scorer. Just watch the wicked deflection here off, I think. Gary Gillespie behind Leighton, who was completely helpless. Vujovic makes it 3-1 to Yugoslavia.
This just lets you see what a horrible game it can be at times. I've got to be honest, Jock, and say that I thought the second goal was bad defending. We allowed ourselves to be pushed right back on top of our goals, and I also think it was a known goal from Steve Nicholl. But it's a bad goal to lose, and now we've lost another one. We're really up against it now.
Well, now the match has been turned on its head. Scotland have not been an attacking force at all in the second half. After such a fine, disciplined performance, suddenly fall victim to 3 goals in 5 minutes. And the Yugoslav supporters right behind the men now. Scotland have to come forward. They have to come and have a go at the Yugoslav defence. And the scoreboard still uncertain about who scored the second goal. Gillespie given the credit for an own goal for that, but it's a bit unkind, I think. Vujovic playing it across goal. It came off Gary Gillespie. And the second goal for Yugoslavia still not yet established. Steve Nicholl's head was up there, but not certain whether or not it came off him last. So it's back now with Ivkovic, and the match changed altogether for the Yugoslavs, who can now stroke the ball about and sit on their lead. There's the scoreline, and there's a gap there at the 57th minute for the scorer. Not yet established. Gillespie given credit for the third for Yugoslavia, and no one too sure who got the second. Certainly were a ruck of players with heads flying around, and it was Steve Nicholl who was the nearest Scot, that's for sure. But what matters most is that Scotland now trail by 3 goals to 1. They come forward now with Nicholl, taking too long on the ball, but showing his strength in possession. The Yugoslavs bring it clear again. There's Stojkovic. Mother McLeod did well matching that run from Stojkovic. And a little bit of unpleasantness erupting there. Vujovic and Stojkovic when Mother McLeod and Scotland had a free kick because Stojkovic was guilty of the first infringement on Mother McLeod. So here we are with Maurice Malpass. Challenged there by Vujovic. I think Scotland will have a free kick. Well, Scotland suffering there. 2 high crosses, a couple of headers, and then a low ball played in, deflected into his own net by Gary Gillespie. A high challenge by Spazic on Ali McCoist. The referee has given a free kick. McCoist not at all pleased with Spazic or with Valjic. And a bit of face slapping there, apparently in sportsmanlike fashion, but Katanec could keep his hands away from McCoist, who's clearly not at all happy about that kind of treatment. Certainly the victim of a very high challenge. As can Scotland come back. Very tall order indeed. Here's Paul McStay. Spitsuvic to find McLeod. Into the box it goes. Back now with Malpass, and now Mother McLeod. Here's Malpass making for the byline, over carrying the ball. It's a goal kick to Yugoslavia, and a major change now having to be contemplated by the Scots.
Well, I think we've got to start to get to grips with the game again, because we've lost contact with the players just at the moment, John. One of the worrying things is they've changed. Their whole attitude has changed now. They're going to be the good guys, and we've saw little incidents. They want to draw us into conflict, and we've really got to work very, very hard at keeping our temper and keeping our discipline just now. But we've really got to force our way back into the game again.
Steve Nicol there, guilty of a late challenge over on the far side. The referee allowing play to continue with the Yugoslavs in possession. That just illustrating Billy McNeil's point. Lazarevic. There's Katanic. Over on the far side, it goes to Branovic. This is Suzic. Going through that challenge from McStay, not made with quite enough conviction. Good interception by Malpas, a crucial one as Vujovic broke behind him. And that's a bad foul there by Jakovlevic. Free kick to Scotland. Very difficult to change the pattern of play now that things have gone so badly wrong for the Scots in the second half. The controlled, disciplined performance designed to cope with the Yugoslavs defensively now goes for nothing with his 3-1 deficit. And the ball given straight to Stojkovic by Gillespie. A careless loose pass from defence. Over to the far side, space there for Branovic. Bacon is beaten. That good change of pace by Suzic. Stojkovic, our high cross favoured. A bit of wrestling going on. Jakovlevic with Gillespie. Jakovlevic playing it back. Lazarevic with a shot. Still problems for the Scots. Suzic plays it in. Gillespie's there with a header. Played back by Lazarevic. To be retrieved at the back by Hadzibedzic, here in possession, number 5. Baljic on the far side. Here's Suzic. Great ball through the gap there to the far side. Not cut off by Nicol or Gillespie. More problems for Scotland. The long, deep cross. Malpas helps it on for a throw. Good header that by Malpas. Marking Katanic. Malpas getting to the ball, getting a touch to give possession to Paul McStay. Gillespie trots up on the outside. Can the Scots create something inside the Yugoslav half? Here's McStay. Making space for himself with a good turn away from Katanic. It's still Paul McStay. And it goes towards Jury. Fine ball that from McStay, and a bit of luck there for the Yugoslavs coming out there ahead of Suzic, straight back to his goalkeeper. Oh, good pass played inside there by Paul McStay to try and meet the run made by Gordon Jury off his marker. The defensive cover was solid enough. Still no sign of any substitutes being introduced to the fray. Well, certainly not the kind of scoreline which Scotland were hoping to enjoy when they were forced to make a substitution. Katanic. McLeish goes to meet it, but there's extra men in midfield. One of them is Jakovlevic. Coming forwards, over on the far side, he has support, Vujovic. Branovic makes a run beside him to provide a decoy. Early ball played in, won by Gillespie. Good header to safety, but Stojkovic will take the throw. Midfield all the way through a tortuous second half for the Scots as McCoist wins possession. Down goes Steve Nicol, taken from the back, and the free kick to Scotland.
A free kick to Scotland.
Now they're the players who have to hurry a bit. 2-goal deficit to try to attack. Gillespie plays it forward. There's McCoist with a layoff for Paul McStay. Needs support inside. The driven shot is blocked by the keeper. Good move that from Scotland. McCoist and McStay's understanding again, creating a shooting chance. And diligence required at the other end. Stojkovic. Katanic. Making space for a cross if he so chooses, but back with Stojkovic. He switches play right across to the far side. Such accurate passing. Hadjibejic here comes forward now to link from the back. Now Suzic. Again Stojkovic free on the right. Looking for the chance to send it across. Tackled there by Aiken. There's no free kick given. That's a let-off for Scotland. And the jury carries the ball out for a throw. Perhaps a little sign of fatigue there. The throw to Yugoslavia. Bazarevic takes it quickly. Suzic trying to make room for a pass, but it's a throw to Scotland, and there will be a change made by Scotland now, I'm sure. That sign of fatigue, I think, by Gordon Jury may be the deciding factor in freshening up the Scottish attack. Here's McStay, asserting himself now in a creative role in midfield. That's a good pass for McCoist, making space for himself well also. Here's Murdo McLeod. Malpass goes on his outside. Still Malpass using McLeod on the outside. Gillespie's popped up on the far side. That was an attempt at a lay-off by McCoist into the path of Malpass. Katanic. Vujovic. Katanic again. So now the patient play coming from the Yugoslavs, who have the scoreline there very happy with at the moment. Remember, a victory for Yugoslavia takes them to Italy for sure. Scotland will still need a point if they couldn't get anything from tonight's match. Bazarevic. In the middle of the field is Katanic. Good interception by McLeod, but Suzic wins it back. Here's McStay. And Malpass. McStay turning back into trouble. The ball was out. Throw to Yugoslavia. A chance for Scotland to bring on a substitute if they so desire. They have Alan McInally now stripped and ready to come on, and he will replace Gordon Jury. Well, a change which we thought may well happen. We're now 26 minutes into the second half. Gordon Jury, who's worked so hard and done so well for Scotland, goes off. He's replaced by Alan McInally of Bayern Munich. Well, a fresh, powerful, pacey pair of legs for Scotland. Jury has done his job well. We're very unhappy indeed to see that his opening goal in the first half has been nullified by that terrific burst from the Yugoslavs, a 5-minute spell in which they scored 3 times. Here's Malpass. Now McCoist. Tackle from the back by Baljic. Penalised by the referee. Free kick's already been taken. Here's Paul McStay. McInally with a little layoff there looking for Nicol. He has to be quick. Covering play with Brnovich. And he certainly showed a lot of pace to get back. There's Spazic. Hadjibejic. Well, perhaps signs here that the Yugoslavs are happy with this scoreline. They're content now to retain possession, make sure they make no mistakes.
It's exhibition time for them now, Jock. They are happy with the scoreline as it is, and they should be. And the disappointing, frustrating thing for us is that our system's been good, and it's just a little lack of discipline in defence that's cost us dearly.
Here's Vujovic retaining possession well over on the far side, getting help again from the back, and he has Suzic inside. No, they really are magnificent players, especially when they have the initiative as they have now. Malpass with a pass back. Here's Murdo McLeod. Touching the ball forward to win a throw, and it's the Yugoslavian turn to make a change. And they're taking off Jakovlevic, who hasn't contributed a great deal to the match, and there is Savicevic from Red Star, who will come on. The young disgruntled player who was very disappointed he wasn't selected initially. He'll be very anxious to make an impression. Jakovlevic comes off. Well, that's certainly not in any way encouraging for the Scots, because the substitute really is a superb striker also. Back it goes now to Roy Aiken. Well, Aiken taking his eye off the ball as he gets conflicting calls, I think, from McLeod on the left and McStay on the right. Back it goes to Ivkovic. Well, the big keeper did well in the first half. A great stop from Gordon Jury, apart from the one which beat him. Here's Stojkovic going very deep indeed, pressurized by Nicol. Nicol working hard, but Stojkovic still has possession. And McInally couldn't reach that. Spasic has time. He also has Malpass making a challenge very diligently once again. Sticking to his task well, Maurice Malpass. Savicevic, his first involvement in the play, showing his dexterity on his left foot. Malpass for trouble here, having to be quick as Spasic read his intentions. Here's McLeod. Forward is McInally. McLeod again. Have to battle for possession once more. Anitan. Inside is Aiken. Forward is McCoist. And once again, McLeod is there. Fouled by Spasic. And Spasic certainly has put himself about when he felt the occasion demanded it in the second half in particular. So half an hour gone in the second half, just 15 minutes remaining. Scotland trailing by 3 goals to 1. Here's McLeish. Now Willie Miller. McCoy is trying to come off his marker. This is Vujovic, the Yugoslav skipper. Careless one. McCoy is trying to control it. Turned back by Hadžibegić. There's the scoreline with 14 minutes remaining. Lazarevic. Suzic. Katanic once again, this man finding gaps. Savicevic on the near side. Look at his comfortable run on that left side. Once again, space cropping up. Suzic, the supporting player from midfield. Yugoslavs looking for the killer goal. Here's Baljic. Willie Miller attacking the ball in the box as he has done so well for so many years. Spasic lofting it forward, and McLeod will let that bounce away for a Scottish throw.
You know, Joe, over the piece we played very well for most of the game. It just with a very, very careless defensive situation here over 3 or 4 minutes has cost us dearly, because the bulk of our play has been good. But we now see a quality side full of confidence and really playing at the top of the form. They're enjoying the game now because they know it's going to be very, very difficult for Scotland to get back in.
And Yugoslavia is certainly a team who will grace the World Cup finals. They will be a major threat. There's not much doubt about that. Stojkovic becoming a little bit too elaborate. Stay to McCoist. Here's Steve Nicol and McInally using Gillespie popping up with the right. Can the Scots hit back? Up goes Roy Aiken. Ivkovic, a big powerful keeper, commanding his area, making a fine catch under pressure. Go back with Ivkovic, and the Yugoslavs content to play it patiently from the back. Here's Stojkovic. And Spasic. Well, they're forcing the Scots to come forward and come at them, and then they will hope to get in behind them again. Well, Yugoslav supporters not too happy about this. I wonder what the Scots can do about it. The Yugoslavs capable of changing pace superbly when they come forward. Well, there's a free kick. Give him a bit of pushing as that ball came forward along the ground. Lazarevic, shot to Stojkovic. Here's Savicevic. Stepping inside McLeod, is standing his ground well. Oh, brilliant play. Here's Suzic. Across the far side is too high for Katanic. And there's Steve Nicol for Scotland. Delightful play again from Yugoslavia. They really are a joy to watch now. Unless you have hope still of Scotland coming back. It does look a forlorn hope now. Cannot see any way in which the Scots can turn the tide adequately in the closing 11 and a half minutes. Trailing by 3-1 against a quality side. There's Gillespie. Scotland forced to come here, of course, without Richard Gough, Maurice Johnston, Ian Fergus, and the Rangers trio not available, and the Scots having to make adjustments to cope with that. They appear to have done so very well indeed, with that exception for 5 minutes early in the second half. Bozdarovic, turned away by Nico. And these 2 points, which appear now to be inevitable for Yugoslavia, enough to guarantee them a trip to Italy next summer. And I'm sure they'll be treated with the utmost respect as potential finalists and a team which might well go a very long way indeed. There's Gillespie getting a touch. Steve Nicol nods it back towards Willie Miller. Here's Malpass. McInally couldn't reach it. It's with Paul McStay in midfield. He has some space now, but it was closed down instantly by Baljic. Gillespie did well, and he was held, Gillespie, by Stojkovic. He tried to make a run forward to reach Nichols' pass. That wasn't spotted by the referee. And if Stojkovic can keep a grip of his temperament, he will be a potential star of the World Cup finals. So 10 minutes remaining. Yugoslavia 3, Scotland 1. Stojkovic in possession. Spazic in space on the near side. There's Vujovic coming across. Aiken battling hard with Savicevic. Oh, Savicevic striding away, running into McLeish, who timed his tackle well. McStay now to Malpass. Here's McLeod. Malpass again. It's good play by McLeod. And now Gillespie. Here's McCoist. Caught very late and deep. Well, that's a savage tackle, and Scots anxious to take a quick free kick, prevented from so doing by the Yugoslavs. Gary Gillespie had sprinted forward for that. Brnovic preventing the free kick being taken. McCoist is back on his feet. Very strong, powerful player. He's taken some heavy treatment in the match without succumbing yet. Here's Nicol trying to hit the byline. Headed out as far as Murdo McLeod. Not a real shooting chance this. There goes Malpass. Headed on by McLeish. Malpass helps it on. Nodded back down safely there by Brnovic. Good piece of defending. This is Bozdarovic. Scotland showing some good passing play of their own, though, when they get the opportunity. Well, there's the unhappy news for Scottish fans. 3-1 to Yugoslavia. It all began so promisingly till a nightmare spell turned the tide. Good hustling tactics there by McStay and McCoist. McStay not finished yet, still putting pressure on at the back, and Hadžibegić. He's got a point to prove to Osim, the Yugoslav manager, there Stojkovic. Timing the pass to the far side of Brnovic. Dumped away by Malpass. There's Stojkovic again. Short to Savicevic. Here on the near side is Suzic. The interchanging play of the Yugoslavians really has been bewildering a little at times. Certainly been bewildering for the Scots defensively. Stojkovic setting it up on the far side for Brnovic. Well taken by Leighton at full stretch. Good catch by the keeper. That headed away by Hadžibegić. Gives the throw to Scotland with just 7 minutes now remaining. And Scotland, if they're to help to work a miracle, will have to snatch a goal very quickly now. Not too many signs of that, in all honesty, in this second half. McStay with a good pass. Aiken sets off in chase. Vujovic gets back. Well, he's not at all pleasant about that exchange after the ball had gone. And Aiken caught offside. Very obvious move. Aiken clearly believes the linesman was wrong, but that will change nothing. So a free kick has been awarded, and the Yugoslavs in no great hurry to take it. No way back now, surely, Billy.
It doesn't look like it, Jock. They're in total command at the moment. They're slowing the game down. They're taking every opportunity of killing the game now. They know that they're through. They're happy with it, and they'll take the test at the game and everything. It's really exhibition time for them now.
So many good players in the Yugoslav side. Here's one of them, Suzic. To another, Stojkovic. Savicevic, who couldn't find a place in the starting lineup and yet has looked magnificent since he came on. Well, enjoying himself and trying to prove his manager wrong and missing him out from the original selection. Stojkovic, a careless one. Chance for McInally. Can he go all the way himself? Valjic, down he goes. That tackle by Hadzibejic, and the free kick has been given. Well, McInally, the fresh pair of legs up front. Had he got into full stride there, he might well have gone all the way himself. So pacey and powerful, and shows remarkably good close control at pace. So here is set piece for Scotland to exploit. The clock showing 86 minutes on. A little bit more than my watch makes it, but here is Murray McLeod over the free kick. McLeish is going forward, so is Gillespie. Too high for McLeish. And both McLeish and Gillespie in the same area there, so no one coming in late in the far post area.
You know, looking at them, Joe, they are a team who will grace any football field. They've got so much skill. They've got midfield players with the ability to go forward, to pass it, to control the game. And it's to Scotland's credit, really, that for the bulk of the game we've matched them. And indeed, it sometimes looked as good, if not better side than them.
But for the moment again, is Yugoslavia coming forward with Stojkovic. That's for Savicevic, who's played onside by William Miller. A great chance again for Yugoslavia. Savicevic making a meal of this. Well, he'd dwelt on the ball much too long, and there was an offside flag up on the far side. Vujovic certainly offside as that move developed, and Savicevic had a great chance there to open up the Scottish defence, which he failed to take. A little bit of relief there for the Scots. There's McInally under intense pressure from Spasic. Back it goes now to Nicol. Here's McStay. Good ball forward. Here's Roy Aiken. Can he get the cross in? Hadzibejic prevents it, but concedes the corner kick. And Aiken clearly in a hurry along with things, calling Steve Nicol to him. The Scots favouring outswing as well. That's a corner count. Not too much in that. Aiken with Nicol behind him. Short ball inside for Paul McStay, trying to force his way into the penalty area. And Ivkovic comes to meet that, with McCoy trying to make life difficult for him. Suzic couldn't control it. Here's Morris Malpass. Scots coming forward again. Playing with lots of determination and courage, the Scots. Here's Roy Aiken, holding off Suzic. Now using Nicol. Well, that certainly wasn't what was required in that situation. Gillespie had made a forward run but checked out when there was no prospect of remaining onside. So possession goes back to Yugoslavia, who seem to be content now to play out time with the 3-1 scoreline guaranteeing them their place in the World Cup finals. So Scotland, who started this match needing 1 point to be sure to go through, now seeing that prospect fast disappearing. Up goes McLeish, and he did some damage there going in behind Gillespie. Here's Paul McStay. Nicol on the right. McAnally made a run forward, making space inside for Paul McStay. Here is Aiken. Seeing a gap to exploit going forward. Nicol plays it in, that's a careless one. Willie Miller going to attack the ball, he didn't make it. Here's Martin McLeod, a chance now for McCoy hooking it across the face of the goal. Well, that just needed a runner from the far in the post area, but none was available. And the Yugoslavs have the goal kick. Well, who among these Scots do you think, Billy, have enhanced their international reputations?
Well, I think certainly Alan McCoist, and because he's had an almost unescorted role up front and he's performed very well. I think Paul McStay has contributed well to the game, and he's in a real quality midfield area there, and he's looked as good at times as anyone on the field. You know, it's a disappointing thing because our first half performance was superb, and it's all down to 4 minutes in the game when we broke our discipline at the back, allowed their concentration to wander, and we lost 3 goals. But other than that, it's been a good performance.
Willie Miller now springing from the back, using Gary Gillespie, who's also up with the attack. Back from Nicol. Wants it back again in that area, played into space in the right by Willie Miller, but asking much too much of Steve Nicol. Now here's a gap over on the far side for the Yugoslavs to exploit. This is when they're at their most dangerous, hitting on the break. They've sucked Scotland forward. Now they have a chance with Suzic. Here's Bezarovic. Back it goes to Savicevic, and a good tackle by Aiken. Malpass brings the ball clear. We're in the final minute of the match. Scotland now playing for pride and self-respect. The closing seconds as Steve Nicol comes forward. Here's McStay. Now McAnally. Yeah. Screening the ball, using Nicol behind him. Paul McStay trying to find the return pass, but goes astray, and Yugoslavia are in possession. There's a Yugoslavian player on the ground. It looks like it might be Stojkovic, who's taking a dive over on the far side after a collision there with Alan McAnally. The referee wasn't deceived though. That wasn't Stojkovic. He's in possession now, putting on the exhibition stuff. As the seconds tick away now, we're past the 90-minute mark. Scotland have lost the match. There's not much doubt about that. And there's the referee, the Belgian referee, signalling the match is over. Ivica Osim, the Yugoslav manager, celebrates that Yugoslavia have made it to the World Cup finals. For Scotland, there's a handshake by Andy Roxburgh and Craig Brown to Yugoslav manager. The Scots have been beaten. They owe it all to a nightmare spell early in the second half when their 1-goal half-time lead was destroyed with 3 goals inside 4 minutes. And that was the period which lost the match for Scotland. They still have this nervous tightrope to walk towards the World Cup qualification. But for Yugoslavia, it is all over.